I remember Formula One games, but that was in the, I mean, 90s, mid 90s. And then there were Toka touring car that I absolutely loved at the time. And yeah, with the BTCC cars, that's how I played a little bit of video games, and quite funny on Steam. I stopped playing about 2010, so on Steam I still have Race 07 or something like that, some very very old games on my app, and got back to really to esports about April 2020 with the lockdown and the lack of competition in real world. Yeah, I think when I came back to esports, I had the experience of the Formula One simulator because we use it more and more in Formula One, and I jumped into esports on iRacing, Factor 2, and Assetto Corsa, and I was very impressed of the quality of the games. Obviously, they all have their strengths and their weaknesses, and sometimes I wish they were a bit different in some aspects. But I think what I really enjoy is the challenge of going fast, and the challenge of tackling a new discipline. It is as accurate as it can be, but it's still a video game. So there are things that are quite different from real life, and that's why you've got pro esports drivers and pro drivers. Some can be fast in both worlds. I think Max Verstappen, Scott McLaughlin, but I'm still quite a bit off the pace in esports, whereas I think in real world I'm okay. I think I always kept an eye on esports, but obviously with the pandemic and the world changing last year, I think it was a great time for me to jump in esports. I like being an entrepreneur. I like building things, and I got the chance to have the right people for me at the time that I met, that I knew actually from the past. And we started the REG esports team, and I straight away told the guys, look, I want it to be Formula One style, real style. So we've had to change a few things and make sure that all the cars look the same, with the same sponsor, the same position, and make sure that the drivers, when they stream, the room is cleaned and there's a good background. I mean, we want it to be as professional as we can, without the downside of the too real life where everything is politically correct. We still want to keep the human being behind it, and I think in that aspect, Twitch platform is mega, because when you stream and you play and you talk to your friends, you actually are quite natural, and I think that's what people really enjoy seeing. So yes, we've used all the experience I had in my life as a race driver to put into esports. Obviously, we still have loads to improving day after day, but the journey has been very quick, and we've got some good milestone, and entering some of the most prestigious competition around the world, the F1 Esports, the V10 R-League, the PESC. For us, it's a big achievement. I mean, the V10 R-League is run very professionally in the same way that we think sim racing will go, and that for us was a big thing. We've seen big names, big teams into the league, and for us it would make complete sense to join in, and we were very proud to be part of it. Now we need to do great on track. That's always the key. But I believe we've the same vision, and I've been driving the car myself a little bit, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it is the V10 R car is absolutely outstanding. First of all, the sound is really, really cool, and when you drive it, it does remind me the V8 I was driving early in my career in Formula One, and even I never drove the V10, so for me it's the closest it would get. But even the shift light, the gear shift, the downshift, and so on, the sound is absolutely outstanding. And then the grip of the car. I mean, the lap time I've been seeing in Silverstone is very close to Formula One lap time nowadays, and I think that's super cool. And being through Cops Corner absolutely flat out, that is a great feeling. I mean, I think the modern Formula One car have got a huge amount of torque and power. The V6 hybrid engine is a great technology. It's probably the most powerful that has been around for a very long time, even compared to V8 or V10. But there's one thing that you won't ever replace is the sounds of a V10 engine, and whenever you see, I think it was Mick Schumacher last year in Mugello that made a demo with the 2004 Ferrari and the V10 engine, and when it goes around, it brings something unique and very special. And I think that's definitively something that you can't replace. And obviously, I remember going to see races when I was a young kid, and 10 kilometers from the circuit or 6 miles from the circuit, you would hear the engine, and you knew you were going there. And V6 has been improving a little bit over the last few years, but still it's not as special as the V10 was. Well, I think the beauty of esports is that we can do whatever we want, and go circuits wrong way, right way, race for a week non-stop, all the crazy things you can think of. But on those non-limited part, I think if we get the head-to-head race is absolutely outstanding. It's a short period of time. You need to get it right. You need to respect your opponent, and you go for it. And I really think that's pretty cool. And you can get some super exciting pattern race, because it is 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you need to be absolutely full focus on it and make sure that you get the best out of it. And it's quite stressful as a driver. I'd rather go for an endurance races where you settle in your pace, and if you lose the position, it's not a big deal because you're gonna play with the strategy. But I think in terms of excitement, I think the head-to-head is absolutely super cool. Yes, I think in sim racing, there's one thing that we need to do is to be have a very strong team spirit in the way we develop the setup, in the way we go racing. And because still in sim racing, there are things that happen sometimes that aren't as good as you would like in real life. Crashes in the race, so you very often lose a car, and therefore you want to have as many cars as you can at the front. And also on the different platform, it's very interesting to see some drivers from R Factor 2, some other from iRacing, some other from Assetto Corsa, and sharing their experience. And I believe having a strong 3 drivers team is very difficult, but also super nice to have. And is one thing that I'm proud of is whenever we have a race, and then the other drivers from the team are streaming the race from their teammate, and they're helping him, and they're spotting him, and they work on the telemetry, on the data, on the fuel consumption, and so on. And I'm super proud to have that very good team spirit. And I think in V10 R-League, you don't have a choice. It has to be here, and it's something that I'm very keen on putting in the team, and I'm very happy to see it going on into such a strong series, because it is for me a big life value. Yeah, so for us, joining V10 R-League, fighting Red Bull, McLaren, Aston Martin, we're super proud of doing that, and I think the championship is just gonna go. It's just gonna be great. So we've decided to pick up different drivers from different platform. We've selected our F Factor 2 champion Eran Jajowski, which is doing absolutely amazing on F Factor 2. We've got then from iRacing, we've got Thomas Petitjean, that is more like a Formula 3 LMP cars specialist on iRacing. And the third one is Samuel Lieber, which is also a Frenchman that is more trying to go on to F1 games. So we've picked up like 3 drivers from 3 different platforms, and trying to get them to work the best they can, and hopefully they're going to do great. I think there are few places where sim racing and real racing can go together, really. As I say, simulator in IndyCar, in Formula 1, in endurance, it's key to develop the car, because you don't get much testing. And I got much better at simulator since I actually started sim racing back home. I can focus for a longer time. I can understand the things better. So in that aspect, it has definitely a place. I think it is a different audience in both worlds, but they can go together. We are seeing now more and more championship that are actually bringing esports into the championship. I think that it's the GT Championship with Fanatec, where some of the points could be awarded through sim racing. I think we really need to find what's the right balance between making esport into real racing sport, and having a place without taking a spot that is not the one that people are expecting to be. So it is moving very quickly. There is definitively space for it and use for it. And I hope to see more and more, connection between real life and sim racing. There could be some coming in the near future, but obviously we've seen that the championship on esports are super exciting. The Le Mans, virtual Le Mans last year was a huge event, and obviously, yes, I think there's place for both worlds, and as I say, different audience, but they can really work together nicely. I don't know. I think esports. I've got some drivers, esports driver that we've put in a racing car recently, and they are performing very well. So I really think esport could be a great tool to learn, the basic of driving, of racing, of managing and setting up the car. And the beauty of it is that you can join a server and race against Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Romain Grosjean, out of the blue, and this is not something you can do in real life. And I think that access to the fans and to the pro driver is absolutely amazing. It is a different, as I say, it is different worlds. I have been part of the fastest racers on hers, and when I go sim racing, I'm okay, but I'm not super fast, and it shows that it's not quite the same world. So I think we just need to keep in mind that they are different worlds, but they very much can work in line, and actually esport could be used as a jump into real racing, and that's what we are trying to do with some of our partners. We've got one of the sim racer, Jordi Much, which is going to compete in the Brit Car Championship with Praga, and I think that's quite cool. He's a sim racer, but also a real racer, and linking those two words it's great for us. Having the engagement with fans through esports is outstanding. You can. I've built a strong community on Twitch and on Discord, and it's been great to be sharing with people, and with the chat and the Discord and so on, and people really love it. And I think that's the new way of going ahead. It's the communication 2.0. We had Instagram and Twitter, but I believe Twitch is even more personal, because you get to see the real Romain Grosjean when I race and I stream, and sometimes I shout at people and I apologize, but this is the way you are, and I think that's what people quite like. It's been 2020 was a full-on year, I would say. In between the start of the season and the pandemic, then going racing every week, then building my own esports team, and then the crash in Bahrain, and coming back and not knowing what would be next, and I'm making it to Indy. It's been a hell of a journey. I think I was happy to have the sim at home, because that's the first thing I could get back racing after the accident, just to make sure that how my hand would react, and making sure the mobility around the steering wheel was good. So I've been actually quite a bit on the sim, just to make sure that my left hand is getting the right position and the skin can do it. So I mean, on top of being a cool toy at home, it's also been quite helpful in the rehab. Yeah, I think on the hospital bed, the first thought I had is, how can I get back to racing for Bahrain or second race Abu Dhabi? And I tried as hard as I could and as long as I could. Obviously, I was super optimistic at the time, looking at how long it took to recover. But I never thought about quitting racing, and IndyCar was in the back of my head, and I always wanted to go again and to race in IndyCar. So I think it was straightforward. And then I used Esports to learn the circuits. Luckily, I can find the IndyCar on most of the games and the circuit on most of the games. So I've got, I can practice with that and learn the circuit and get used to it, and get better at it. And as I say, make sure that my hand is strong enough and I can grab the steering wheel, and putting your gloves on as well. I tried it the first time in the sim. All those small details that make it that when you get to the racetrack, you know you can do it.